Welcome back. News Radio 840 WHAS. Tony Vanetti, Dwight Whitten, Dave Jennings, all rolling through. And the session has got about 28 days left, so they got a lot of work to do in Frankfurt, and we're going to talk about one of those initiatives now, Dwight.
That's right. He's a combat veteran. He's a former police officer. He's now a member of the House of Representatives. Representative Williams, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I appreciate the invite to come on today.
Well, listen, I wanted you on here because I wanted to clear some things up. Let's go ahead and let's talk about SNAP. It stands for Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. There was a bill that was argued. It was a heated argument.
This is food stamps?
Well, go ahead on that. Answer that.
That's correct. It used to be in a different format, but
that's what I'm asking, so people understand
that's
what
right.
SNAP
food
is.
Stamps.
That's food stamps,
Same
right?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a big argument on the floor last week as you guys brought this bill up for a vote, and a lot of the argument was, hey, it's the worst thing to ever happen. It's going to kill children and X, Y, Z. But realistically, all you're doing is reeling it in to the federal guidelines. Now, Andy Beshear opened it up to, let's put it on how it is. He opened it up to anybody, able-bodied workers, the whole bit, to scam the system. But now it's going back to federal guidelines. Is that correct, or am I off base? Go ahead and explain what's going on.
No, you're exactly correct. This bill did a few things. It eliminated the ability for the cabinet just to say anyone can have this this benefit, no matter how many assets you have, no matter how much money you make. The limit of the money was 200% of the federal poverty level, which is the highest in the nation. We were in front of New York, New Jersey, Illinois, you name it. It had gotten so far out of control. This bill brings that back to that federal negotiated guideline on 130%, and that's where it's at. It also requires the cabinet to make tests and see how much assets everybody has. So millionaires literally right now can get on the SNAP program and receive benefits. So,
and as a taxpayer, that's infuriating.
Yeah. So let's set the record straight. So during COVID, Beshear opened it up to 200% of the poverty level, right? Which opens up to a lot of Kentuckians.
Absolutely.
Okay, because here's a news flash. We're in a very poor state.
Correct.
So how many people, do you know what it went from to where it went, of how many people signed up? But I know that you know the final number, right?
Right. The final number is close to 600,000. I don't know.
600,000 people are on SNAP now in the state of Kentucky.
Correct.
How many are in the state of Kentucky residents?
Probably 4.5 million.
4.5 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a lot of people on assistance.
Right.
Now, so you're saying, and then I have no idea how this works, because my vision was when I was a kid, which was government cheese trucks that were dropping off and food stamps. You had to actually have physical food stamps, and you had to give them to the person, and they give them back to you.
Yeah.
They eventually went to a debit card,
Well,
right?
trust me, I see it every time I go to the grocery store. You can see who's going to use it when the cart's piled high with groceries.
Yeah.
So the that SNAP card allowed you to buy anything but alcohol and cigarettes, I assume.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything in the grocery.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. You can get Monster drinks. You can get, just about anything you want.
It's weird. Okay, so SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Whenever I see somebody using this in the grocery store, without failure, it's King Dongs, Oreos, Ho-Hos, Coca-Cola, stuff like that of that nature. The N stands for nutrition. There's absolutely zero nutritional value in that, for number one. Number two, if you ask me, we're supplementing diabetes. Because if that's what I think it should be used for healthy proteins, vegetables, fruits, and a healthy carbohydrate, the end. But they're using it to buy sugar-packed foods and even flours, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's talk a little.
So what do we wanted to go back to federal guidelines, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the other side of this is what I talked about in the break was when you say that, it sounds like you're taking food out of a child's mouth, right? Or as an older lady sitting at the debit thing and saying, what are you saying it's turned down? So that's what you see in the image, but you're saying that's not going to happen.
Right. I think that we have created a monstrous position where people are it's more lucrative to stay on these programs than it is to go and
there
work.
You go. Yeah.
So I think that balance, it resets that to the really needy. That's what this program was designed for, and I think that's what this does.
So by the way, we're talking with Representative Williams. What's your Hopkinsville? Is that your district?
No, it's Hopkins County.
Hopkins County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So last week, this was a heated debate on the floor, and it went on and on and on and on. And those that were against it said it's going to kill children and X, Y, WHAS. Basically, all we're doing is bringing this, or all you all are doing, I should say, is bringing this up to federal guidelines. With that, I ask you this question. Has this been done in other states where they open it up to everybody and then they reeled it back in? Has it been done in other states that you know of?
It has.
Okay, then what was the results? Do you know?
Well, I mean, they've had some great results out of it. Taxpayers in Arkansas saved $28 million annually, dropped by 70% the people who actually went on and got jobs. Florida dropped by 94%. Mississippi saved $93 million. I mean, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars in savings.
Well, there is that, and you brought it up, there's that magic number of being able to help somebody that doesn't have their job. And then there's that magic number of a person saying, well, I've got to make this amount of money at my job or it's not worth me going back to work.
Right.
Right. So I think that's what we're pointing towards.
That's right.
Is saying, look, man, we got to make it so folks want to go back to work and start. And look, if that happens, you do this program and people go back to work, that's even better for the state.
Right. You know, there's 130,000 open jobs in the state now, and we're at a desperately low workforce participation rate. We're in the bottom 6, I think.
Well, when you pay people to sit on their ass, that's what you get. Our guest this morning is State Representative Williams, and we're talking about the adjustment, not the elimination to SNAP. Some people are saying it's the elimination. It's not what's going on. All they're doing is bringing it back to federal guidelines. You waving at me?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not waving to you.
Okay. Sorry. But a lot of things were brought up on the argument on the floor, how it's going to hurt veterans, how it's going to hurt kids. This has nothing to do to eliminating lunch programs for kids. Does it or does it? I don't know.
It does not. 99.9% of the kids who apply, who are qualified for that program will still be qualified after this bill goes through.
Well, what was the argument against veterans? Because I didn't see a lot of it, but because this argument went on for a long, long time. You're a combat veteran, and they were saying that somehow this is going to hurt veterans.
Yeah.
And I was very proud of you because I saw you stand up and you went and readdressed that. What was the argument, and explain how it was false?
Well, I think if you watch the whole series, it was just a strategic point to try to get first it went, we're going to get all the kids off food stamps. Then we're going to get all disabled people off, old people, and then it went to veterans. And I think it was just trying to make the disconnect that we didn't understand what our audience was and how it was going to affect everybody. We were just being cruel, I think.
What happened to Pride? We never used to take things that we didn't need. Blessings in a Backpack is a local organization. They tried to fundraise in California. People complained because their kids weren't getting free food. They didn't need it. So now every child in California schools has to get that. Where did we go wrong? It's probably not a question you can answer.
No, I don't know. I just think that it's become more and more commonplace, and I think it's just expected now is the problem.
Well, the system does work for people that need it. It really does. Yeah. I mean, I've known people that are that have full-time jobs, sometimes 2 jobs. They have multiple kids, and the marriage breaks up, and then they're like, Tony, I couldn't have made it. Now, they weren't on it forever,
right,
but they were like, I couldn't have made it without the food assistance. Couldn't have made it.
Right.
And it's not the person you think of, right? So we're all sitting here thinking of who the poor person that needs it.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at the people that need the food assistance.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's not, we're not trying to eliminate that.
Right.
We want to help those people in need, so I think that's, we sometimes lose that.
If you ask me, there's a big difference between a hand up and a hand out. I've got nothing against a hand up. Right. I've been given a hand up by several people in my life. My mother, a bar owner by the name of Don May, when I didn't have money to eat, he would feed me out of his bar. The amounts are endless, but I didn't keep going back.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I got on my feet, I got on my feet. But one of the things that was argued on this is going to put 500,000 people in jeopardy, this SNAP. That can't be the right number. Can it?
No, it would eliminate. No,
I mean, because there's 600,000 on SNAP.
Yeah.
And the argument was, how many, in fact, will it affect? Do you think?
Well, the cabinet estimated we're relying on their numbers, about 25,000.
About 25,000
households. So 50,000 people it could. And we're not talking about that it may eliminate them. It's just possible that they could fall in those categories if they have too much assets.
Well, I think the other thing you got to keep an eye on is you do have to adjust the laws in bad times.
Yeah.
But understand when you pass something.
Yeah.
Like, we always joke going, when they say it's a temporary tax, there are no temporary taxes. There are no temporary taxes.
I can't wait till the bridge is free.
When you pass a tax, it stays. You don't ever. So those are the people that, like, there are lawmakers that vote against something like that, and they're like, why are you doing that? Because this will never go away.
Yes.
Because we'll be in a fight on the floor 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's where you are today.
Exactly.
Trying to get it back to just a reasonable number. You're not eliminating SNAP.
That's right.
You're just getting rid of some of the dead weight where the person goes, damn it, I got to go back to work.
That's right.
Or damn it, I was having a good time doing that. And I would love to go to the grocery and buy what I want.
Oh, are you kidding me?
All the time.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. So what's the odds? When is this going to be voted on? And what are the odds this thing gets past old Bashir's desk?
Well, it goes to the next step is it goes to the committee in the Senate. If we can get a hearing there, and then it would go to the Senate floor, and hopefully if it passed there, then Governor Bashir's, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to veto it.
Of course he will.
But then, we would have to look at the option of overriding that veto at the end of that.
Okay.
Well, as you should. Yeah. So anyway, he is State Representative Wade Williams. Hey, listen, thank you so much, Representative Williams, for coming in. We appreciate it more than you know.
All right. Thank you for inviting me.
Hey,